Now that we have WordPress installed on a live server, let me show you around the dashboard. So basically, when you install WordPress for the first time, this is what you see, a very clean dashboard like this. And over here to the left, you have the menu section. So this is where you control all that has to do with your WordPress installation. And over here at the top, you would see the status bar. So this bar is only available to logged in users. And then we have the main dashboard itself, where you get access to, it's kind of like your work area. So this is where you make changes to your themes, your plugins, create posts and everything. So on every WordPress page on the dashboard, you have these two options here. So if you click on this one down, you would see you have boxes. You can decide to keep them on this dashboard or remove them. For now, all the boxes are selected. So welcome to WordPress, you will see the welcome box here. If I uncheck it, the welcome box disappears. And then I'll do this for site health. So the more you check these boxes, the more your WordPress dashboard becomes cleaner and empty. So you can add boxes you want. So when we start installing plugins, some plugins come with their own boxes or widgets. So you can decide to keep the ones that are more useful to you, like the analytics box or the SEO box or whatever box that your plugin has generated for you for easy control. So I'm going to leave the welcome box selected and site health, because I like to know the status of my site health. As you can see, we don't have any information yet because we've not started working on this website. And activity, there's no activity yet, so I'm just going to leave this few boxes for now. Also, you can reposition boxes the way you want. You can drag the activity up to this part if you want to position it that way. And also you can collapse to have a cleaner dashboard. So moving over to the next item, the menus here on the menu bar. They are positioned to the left, as you can see. So the first one is the home, which is the dashboard you can see here. And if you click on updates, this is where you make changes to or update your plugins or your themes. So we don't have any plugins or themes to update right now because we've not started installing them yet. Then over here is posts. This is where you create posts. If you hover your mouse on post, you get the other options like to view all posts, add a new post, you can create post categories and tags. Then you have media. This is where you have control over your media items. So when you install a theme, most times those themes comes with media files, especially images. So you can manage those images, add your own media like images, videos, PDFs, etc. Then the next menu is pages. Here you can add a new page and view all the pages you've created. So this is where you create your about us page, your contact us page, your portfolio page, your gallery page, etc. I just clicked on pages and we have the block editor or Gutenberg editor, which is the default for recent versions of WordPress. In the past we used classic editors, and I don't really build my website or pages with the default Gutenberg block editor. So I choose my own page builders, which we are going to look at in the advanced section of this course. But for now, let's stick with the basics. So I'll go back, and then the next option we have is the comments. So I'll click on the comment and you would see here that you can manage your comments. Let's say you run a blog, you can manage all your blog comments. By default, we have a post when you install WordPress for the first time, and that post is hello world. So you get to play around with the post and you can choose to delete it if you want. Of course, I normally like deleting everything that comes with the default installation of WordPress so I can have a clean plate. And you can see there's no comment found because I deleted that post which had the comment. Then appearance is basically where you make changes to the themes. So you can install new themes, you can customize them, you can select widgets or add widgets that comes with the themes you've installed. So WordPress gives you default widgets. You can see the widget that comes with WordPress by default. So if I go back to the front end and I scroll all the way down, these are all widgets. So if you are running a blog, you can have the archives widgets. So people can go through to see all the posts you made in December or whichever month you made the post. And also you can get access to categories. So these are all widgets. You can be very creative with this. The next item we have here is menus. Of course, you can create menus like About Us menu, link it to your About Us page. You can create portfolio menu, link it to your portfolio page, and so on and so forth. So the next option here is background. Background is new actually. You can locate background when you go to customize. So it already took us to the customize section under appearance. So I'll click to close this out. and then you can get access to your theme editor. This is where you make changes to your theme files. This is for really advanced users. You have to know what you're doing to make changes to your themes. So if I go on to theme editor, you already get a warning, a heads up warning that you are trying to make changes to your theme, and also you get suggestion to have a child theme before making changes. So we'll click on I understand. So this is where you make changes to your theme files. I usually don't come here because most times the theme I install have all of the options I need, so I have very limited technical customization to make. Then the next menu is the plugin menu. So this is where you control or extend the features of your website. You can click on it to see all plugins installed. So WordPress by default installs all these plugins. You can remember during the installation of our WordPress, we selected this Loginizer plugin to be installed. What this does is it limits the number of times people try to log into your WordPress dashboard. So this is for security purposes. You can go ahead and delete these two plugins which came by default, and over here at the top you can click to add a new plugin. Here you can see all the active plugins, and in this case we have one active plugin, which is the Loginizer plugin here, and then the inactive plugins you can get access to them. So it makes it really easy for you to manage your plugins. So this option is also available to other menus in WordPress. Then next is users. You can create as many users as you want and assign roles to them. We're going to look at users in details. Then next is tools. You can get access to available tools in WordPress. Tools to import settings and export settings, and also to check the health of your site. Then obviously you have settings. In settings you can make changes to the general setting. You can change your site title and the tagline. Remember we selected this during our WordPress installation, so you can make changes. Here is where you can make changes to them. And also your WordPress address by default is going to choose the domain or the URL which you installed WordPress on. So the only time you change this site address and WordPress address is when you're trying to move your domain or your website installation. For instance, you registered a new domain name and you decide you don't want to use the Million Shoppers anymore. You can register a new domain name and a hosting account, and then once you are done, you come here and you make changes to reflect to the new domain name before you move your site to or your website files to that new domain and hosting account. Also, you can make changes to your administration email. You can select this option if you want just anyone to register on your account, and then you can put a predefined new user role, which is subscriber, which is also a very good option. So you don't want to give people an administrator access to your WordPress installation when they register. So the only administrator should be you and some other trusted persons who are going to manage your website alongside with you. And these roles vary. We are going to look at roles or user roles as we proceed. You can change your site language. There are a lot of languages here, so I'm going to leave mine as English. Also, you can change your time zone, your date format, your time format. So all these settings are available under the general settings. If I go over to writing settings, here you can make changes to your writing settings. So you can choose your default post category. If you have other categories created, you can choose the default category. This means the category that is selected by default when you create a new post, and also the post format, which is standard. So leave standard selected. And this whole section here is for PHP mail. We are not going to be using PHP mail in any way, so I'll skip this to the next setting, which is the reading settings. Under reading settings, you have access to change how your home page displays. So you can display your latest posts. If we go over to the front end, you can see here that the latest post, which was Hello World, is being displayed. So if I create any new post, it comes up here, it takes up this space. So let's quickly do that. I would open up post in a new tab, and then I'll add a new post. I'll enter my post title, and then I'll start writing my posts. If I click on publish, we've published a new post. So I'll go back to my front end and I'll reload this. So we have that new title here and also the body of the post. So you notice how some blogs update new posts. You come to a blog, you see a new post, you check some other time, you see another new post have been updated. So that's how you create new posts and control them in WordPress. You can choose to change this. You can select a static page instead. So if you drop this down, you can select a page. We have a static page here which comes with the WordPress installation. It's always named as sample page. So if I select sample page and I'll click on save changes, if I go back to my front end, instead of posts, it's going to display that static page. which I've selected. So this can be your home page. You design your home page the way you want it. Then you can create menus where people can click on to navigate to other pages on your website. So moving forward, you can choose to display how many blogs or blog posts shows on a page, and syndication feeds. Syndication feeds is when you try to feed posts or articles from other websites to feature them on your own website. So you can choose how many items of a syndication feed that appears on your most recent posts widget. So you can choose to display the full text or summary for each post in the feed. And then of course you can disable or discourage search engines from indexing your website. I'm sure you don't want to do that, so don't ever check this if you want your site to rank on search engines. Then once you're done with the settings, you can click on Save Changes. Then the discussion settings basically helps you manage things that has to do with comments on your posts. So you can go through the discussion settings and adjust them the way you want to. But normally I don't make changes to this because WordPress already have some recommended selections for you, but you can choose to override them by making changes to them. Then you have settings for media. Here you can choose to display thumbnail sizes. You can choose a predefined thumbnail size of your own customization or your own parameters. Same for medium-sized images and large-sized images. Most times your theme already comes with these settings, so you really don't need to customize anything here. Then the next most important setting is the permalinks. Permalinks is very important because they show you how your URL appears. By default, WordPress selects the day and name permalink, which means on your URL it will display the year, the month and the date which you made your posts. So it adds all of this in your URL, so you can choose to leave only month and name. There are some blogs that use this URL settings. CNN for example. If I open up CNN on a new tab and I'll click to open any posts here, so this is a post I just opened or article. Then if you check the URL, you can see here that we have the year and the month. So this tells us that this post was made on the 1st of December 2020, and then you have the post's title or the slug along with it. And yes, CNN was built with WordPress. So let's go back to our dashboard. So you can leave these settings or these permalink settings if you are running a blog. Personally, I like selecting the post name. So we have the URL and the post name directly. So this helps with search engine optimization because the search engines can read your post or your page and easily rank it without being confused with so many other items added to your URL. We are going to look at this in details in the search engine optimization course. So the permalink settings allow you to control how your URL appears. Scrolling down, you can get to select a predefined category base. For instance, as you can see here in the example, you have the URL, which is the domain name, themillionshoppers.com/topics. So topics in this case is your category base. So you can choose to name your category topics, or if you want to change that, you can say stories. So this would give a base to your category, but by default, WordPress calls this category. The same thing for tags. You can choose any base name for your tags. Then once you are done with all your settings, you can click on Save Changes. The next setting is the privacy settings. Here you can choose your privacy policy page or create a new page for your privacy policy. This is a new setting in WordPress. So WordPress keeps updating and making changes to the platform frequently. Now, depending on your plugin or the plugin you installed in your WordPress site, you can have different menus for those plugins. For instance, we have just one plugin installed, which is the Loginizer Security. So you can control this plugin settings by clicking on it and then getting access to all the options available to control that plugin. Like I said, depending on the number of plugins you have, these menus can increase more than what you can see here. I think we have come to the end of this lesson, and I'll see you soon in the next lesson.